Right now, the interim county executive releases the Dane County budget. A closer look at what's included, how it could impact your bottom line.
Also, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s battle to get off the ballot gets new life as his case faces a looming deadline.
And in our Time for Kids report with SSM Health, how changes to the popular social media app Instagram could impact your child's online safety. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. A former Sun Prairie school resource officer accused of sexually assaulting at least one student and pressuring other children into sexual behavior has pleaded guilty to child enticement.
Records online show that Lamont Crockett pleaded guilty during a hearing today and will be sentenced next week. Charges of sexual assault of a child by a person who works with children and exposing a child to harmful material were dismissed but read in. Crockett was arrested August of last year after a 16-year-old person reported being assaulted by him during their time in high school.
A new budget proposed today by interim Dane County Executive Jamie Kuhn, and it's one she says focuses on families.
Our Kyle Pozorski joins us with a look at the details and what it means for taxpayers.
Well, one of the biggest things to note is a nearly 50% decrease in this year's capital plan compared to last year. However, taxes will be raised for the average Madison home through a levy increase. Kuhn says she's looking to be responsible with taxpayer dollars while maintaining services at current levels. But there are areas where her office is looking to commit more funding.
We endeavor to strengthen this connection to families by investing in the areas of highest need and fill gaps that exist in our current service.
Now let's take a look at some of the specifics. This proposal totals more than $903 million. That's a nearly 7% decrease. The operating budget is $813 million. The capital plan is at $90 million, a nearly 50% decrease over last year. Meanwhile, the tax rate is $2.57 per $1,000 of equalized value, which is down from $2.73 in 2024. It's all good news, but there is a levy increase, like mentioned, raising the taxes on an average Madison home by roughly $17. This budget will now head to the County Board of Supervisors, where they will deliberate on some of the finer points. Board Chair Patrick Miles says he hopes to pass it by the end of October.
All right, Kyle, thank you. The Federal Reserve announced today it is cutting interest rates by more than many experts had predicted. The decision could help people trying to borrow money for a home or a vehicle.
But it might take a while to feel the effects. Bradley Blackburn reports from Wall Street.
Now that prices for everyday items are starting to ease, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says it's time to cut interest rates.
This recalibration of our policy stance will help maintain the strength of the economy and the labor market and will continue to enable further progress on inflation.
The half-point cut moves the benchmark rate from its 23-year high of 5.25% down to 4.75%. The much-anticipated move comes after inflation dropped from a whopping 9.1% in 2022 to just 2.5%. Wall Street is welcoming this large rate cut. Investors are banking it'll give the economy a much-needed boost. Unemployment is on the rise, and higher mortgage rates are pushing up home prices, preventing people like Carl Lamberique from buying.
We placed an offer around the corner from here. We were $24,000 above asking, and we were number 16.
The Fed's decision will bring down borrowing rates, but it might take some time for borrowers to feel the effect. And the initial impact is expected to be small for loans like used cars, which are currently over 11%, and credit card rates now close to a record high.
What we know is directionally, interest rates will be coming down. What we don't know is how fast that will occur in each category.
The Fed said it envisions additional cuts this year and over the next 2 years. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Well, today's result, not great news for savers. The Fed's decision will eventually bring down interest rates on savings accounts, including money market funds and CDs.
Well, let's now get a look at your first warn forecast. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is out on the weather patio. Hey, Blaze.
Hello. It is lovely out here. It's warm. You got the birds singing in the background. And earlier this week, Monday night, we got a taste of yet another really beautiful light show. We've had a couple of really nice light shows in terms of the northern lights here. here across southern Wisconsin over the last year to year and a half. Monday night was no exception. Thank you, Andy, out in Oregon, for taking a photo of the latest light show. You can see the reds and the greens there. If you guys have any photos, you can send them to us through that QR code or by heading over to our website. Currently, we're in the 80s across a lot of southern Wisconsin, mid to upper 80s in some spots, but most of us are in those low to mid 80s, underneath partly cloudy to mostly sunny conditions. We're going to watch as a little bit of cloud cover moves through over the next few hours, but then we should clear out as we head overnight. Upper 50s to low 60s to end your Wednesday. We're tracking a couple chances of much needed rain in the full forecast.
All right, thank you, Blaze. We'll check back in. The Wisconsin Court of Appeals District 2 is picking up Robert Kennedy Jr.'s case to be asked to be removed from the ballot. This comes after a Dane County judge sided against his efforts. The judge cited a state law saying once a candidate submits their nomination papers, they are on the ballot. The Court of Appeals will rush and waive some procedural requirements due to the urgency of this case. Kennedy must submit a memorandum by tomorrow, and the Wisconsin Election Commission also must respond by tomorrow. Both groups are directed to address specific questions relating to stickers on ballots should Kennedy's name be removed.
On a new Quinnipiac University swing state poll, Vice President Kamala Harris ahead of former President Trump in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, but by the slimmest margins here in Wisconsin. The Vice President, 48% among likely voters, while Donald Trump is within reach at 47%. Green Party candidate Jill Stein at 1%. Other candidates also combined for 1%. Now, in a two-way race, the Vice President still leads by 1%, 49 to 48. Kamala Harris leads by 5% in both Pennsylvania and Michigan. And when looking at the Senate race, incumbent Senator Tammy Baldwin holds a 4% lead over challenger Eric Hovde, 51 to 47%.
And a new AARP poll is showing Donald Trump leading among older voters. With those 50 and older, Trump holds an edge over Kamala Harris with a 40% lead to 45%. But those numbers break down when you look at 50 to 64-year-olds. Trump leads by 10 points, and the vice president leads by 6 points with those 65 and older. Among all registered voters, Kamala Harris leads Donald Trump by 3%. Poll director Bob Ward tried to forecast the road to Election Day as far as the Wisconsin is concerned.
2024, anything can happen. I mean, presumably no, but I mean, I'm half joking. Anything can happen. And so, you know, will there be more presidential debates? What other things are, you know, in the works that we don't know about over the last, you know, month and a half of this election?
Ward added that he was seeing that party-based consolidation is strong and that the anchor candidates in the polls. The question now falls on what is happening in the middle of the political spectrum.
Well, if you live in Sun Prairie, starting in February next year, you'll be paying more to register your vehicles. Last night, the Sun Prairie City Council approved a municipal vehicle registration fee, or wheel tax, at $30 a vehicle. Now, the fee will be collected by the state and other registration sites and be put in a fund for specific transportation purposes. The city says this can help reduce reliance on property tax revenue.
The MAC Fund Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders at Children Wisconsin is offering a newly FDA-approved therapy to those 12 and older to help with sickle disease. The center is currently giving Cassagy to children 12 and older with severe sickle cell disease. And thalassemia, sickle cell disease alters the shape of red blood cells, generally causing pain in patients, shortening their lifespan, and can even cause strokes in children. Dr. Julie Tolano says this new therapy is a breakthrough for those affected.
Patients with sickle cell disease and thalassemia require frequent blood transfusions. And in most patients who went through this therapy, it either eliminated the need for transfusions or made it much, much less.
Dr. Tolano says there are several other products being looked at by the FDA that can make life-altering treatments for patients who suffer from chronic illnesses.
The Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, is spending $200,000 to address health hazards in Wisconsin when it comes to public housing. HUD announced over $87 million nationwide to address issues like lead-based paint, carbon monoxide, mold, radon, and fire safety. According to a survey through HUD, more than 34 million American homes have lead paint somewhere in the building. HUD Acting Secretary Adrienne Todman says far too many Americans, specifically children, are living in at-risk conditions like older homes, exposing them to lead-based paint hazards. Social media, for many teens, it's a part of their everyday lives. And for one particular popular app, changes are on the way.
Our Jalen Bank joins us now with this week's Time for Kids digital playbook story in our partnership with SSM Health. Jalen?
Ellie and Eric, Instagram is used by millions of people, many of those being teens. Meta, the parent company of Instagram, has been under pressure about their lack of safety for teens on their apps. Instagram is adding more safety guidelines for teens, making any user under the age of 18 automatically have a private account and giving parents more tools to monitor their child's use of the app. Speaking to one mental health professional, they believe this is beneficial and they have seen more social media apps take similar measures.
So I think putting in more safeguards are incredibly important. We saw this with Snapchat when they created Snap Map, right? The idea that you could share your location services with anybody in Snapchat, and then they automatically put that onto ghost mode, meaning like you would have to enable that.
Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Call joined 40 other states in a lawsuit against Meta for harming the mental health of children last October. And suit says from a mental health standpoint, these new guidelines can be beneficial for certain groups.
And it's not black and white, is social media bad or good? It's more of there are at-risk populations who can suffer from excessive social media use. For example, those who are at risk are depressed teenagers, really anxious teenagers.
And with social media booming in recent years, more privacy guidelines may be on the way.
But I'm just trying to say, right, all of this was done in the past 2 decades. This is not something that's been done over hundreds of years. So we are rapidly changing in the privacy world.
Now, moving forward, Instagram will use AI to help identify those who may not be honest about their age. And for more on our digital playbook, you can find it on our website at channel3000.com.
All right, Jalen, thank you. Still to come, meteorologist Blaze Keller is back. A complete look at your first warn forecast.
And we'll learn more about an organization that hopes to bring dignity and hope to those facing mental illness. That story coming up.
Stocks end lower despite today's rate cut. The Dow off 103 points. The Nasdaq loses 55. S&P 500 falls 16. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, brought to you by Cardinal Heating and Air Conditioning.
This shouldn't take too long, should it?
I have the unit up and running in a jiffy. Oh, sorry, I have to go to the shop. Sorry, I don't have that part either. Sorry, I don't have that part either.
But you said it would be quick. A fully stocked truck can make a huge difference. Call Cardinal.
A1 Furniture and Mattress is closing their giant showroom, and that means the best prices ever. Everything must go. Over $1 million in inventory must be sold. Name brands at huge discounts for every room. Store closing sale on now at A1 Furniture and Mattress.
Bidenomics is working.
It's not. ABC News proved it with charts.
It was under control
on
during
inflation,
the Trump administration, well below
gas,
$3 a gallon, 35%
and housing.
jump in home prices, folks.
Even CNN admits it.
When it comes to the economy, groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Yet Harris still says,
Bidenomics is working.
No, it isn't.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Think Sloan's first.
You know, the big thing about Sloan's is the ease of doing business. They make everything simple. We choose Sloan's and John Deere because we have availability of equipment, quality service, quality parts, and they have the ability to keep us up and running.
Gear up for fall savings time is on now at Sloan Implement. Get your John Deere Z530M with 1.9% for 36 months. Includes your 54-inch mowing deck.
Power up with Sloan's. Think Sloan's first.
Create your perfect room for entertaining, relaxing, and more with patio enclosures. Right now, get 25% off your sunroom. Plus, enjoy exceptional financing. Call today.
Patio enclosures. I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Eric Hovde insulted Wisconsin seniors.
Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
What a jerk. He attacked those who are overweight.
Fine, you want to do that? Your health care is going to cost more.
How insulting is that?
He called farmers lazy.
Look at the old physical toil. Now you're largely driving around a tractor.
This guy doesn't have a clue.
Eric Hovde has insulted just about everyone.
What's wrong with this guy?
A1 Furniture and Mattress is closing their giant showroom, and that means the best prices ever. Everything must go. Over $1 million in inventory must be sold. Name brands at huge discounts for every room. Store closing sale on now at A1 Furniture and Mattress.
Road construction is piling up across the city, and it's not just slowing you down. Tonight at 6, we're looking at how these delays could impact public safety, from fire trucks stuck in traffic to pedestrians dodging cars. What's really at stake?
The final sprint to Election Day is on, and News 3 Now this morning is focused on the races and the policies that matter to you, the voter.
We're taking a look at both sides of the issues and where the candidates stand so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Welcome back. The Yahara House in Madison held an open house this afternoon to highlight its efforts to offer what it calls hope, dignity, and community to those living with mental health disorders. The Yahara House operates under a clubhouse model that members say reduces hospital stay hours and lowers overall costs. This year, the clubhouse restarted the Wisconsin Clubhouse Coalition, encouraging lawmakers to create clubhouse-specific funding across the state. Clubhouse Director Brad Schlew says the program's had great success this year, but hopes to expand.
We would love to expand into commercial insurance. We also use donated funds to help cover the cost of providing some of the services here, too.
And if you or someone you know could benefit from the services at Yahara House, head to yaharahouse.org for more information.
No one was injured in a fire at Curly's Pub and Grub on Main Street in the village of Blue Mounds. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says fire crews responded to a fire just before 3 this morning. They saw smoke filling the building, which included a single-family apartment above the business. All 6 residents were safely evacuated, and the Red Cross is now assisting the family. The fire is being investigated, but the Sheriff's Office says it does not appear to be suspicious. Damages are estimated at about $200,000.
The State Patrol says its troopers have made more than 800 stops on the Beltline just this summer alone. That increased enforcement actually started back in April in hopes of preventing risky driving behaviors that could lead to serious crashes. In those 800 stops, over 1,400 citations and warnings were issued, with some stops having multiple violations. 30 of those drivers were cited for operating while intoxicated. 1 in 4 were for drivers going 80 or more in a 55-mile-an-hour zone.
Well, let's go back to Blaze Color for a full look at your forecast.
And since we talked the first time, there's been an air quality alert issued for a handful of our counties. We got Sauk, Columbia, Dane, Rock, Walworth, Dodge, and Jefferson counties, to name a few, until 11 o'clock tonight. So for folks who maybe want to get out after dinner and enjoy the nice conditions, just know if you're sensitive to poorer air, you may be affected by that. But the good news is a cold front, actually 2 cold fronts, are going to be moving through not only Wisconsin, but the Midwest as we go over the next few days, and that's going to clear out our air. It's also going to bring us our real first chance for rain. But until then, we're going to continue to remain well above average. You can see we're about 14 or so degrees warmer than average for your high on Thursday, but we cool down as we head into the weekend, and that's because we're going to add back not only the cloud cover, but northwesterly winds and rain-cooled air. Now, Future Track does want to bring in some early to mid-afternoon activity across, I would say, parts of southwestern Wisconsin. If that's the case, that might help diminish, not completely eliminate, but diminish our chances for possibly some severe weather as we head into the late afternoon, early evening hours Thursday, as we're expecting a second line of showers and thunderstorms to move on through. So we're looking at 8:30. Folks in Vernon, Grant, Crawford County, into Richland County, Iowa, Sauk, you kind of get the picture here. You're going to be impacted first. And then as this line continues to move eastward, it will continue to weaken as we're later in the severe weather season. And since this is not going to be riding really directly along the cold front, these storms, especially this late into the season, really want to capitalize on that sunshine. So once we lose the sunshine, the storms will weaken. And I mention that because there is a marginal and there is a slight risk for severe weather across parts of southern Wisconsin Thursday evening into early Friday. I would say large hail and strong winds are going to be our greatest threats. And then we watch as the second cold front acts as kind of a guiding hand and pulls up a lot of this moisture into central and southern parts of the plains. A lot of green over the Great Lakes as we head into your Sunday. That is the start of fall, so you may want to plan indoor plans on Sunday, but again, at this point, we need rain. The first round of rain Thursday into Friday, maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch at best. But then as we look ahead into Sunday, further into Monday, we could pick up, in addition to that, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to maybe 1.5 inches in some spots, which is some great news because a lot of us, Madison included, haven't even picked up 1/10 of an inch of rain so far for the month. Into tomorrow, though, we're heading into the 80s. Those showers and thunderstorms holding off until the evening. A mix of mostly sunny to partly sunny conditions. There's a look at your 7-day forecast. The jet stream has finally not gotten backed up. We've kicked out that high pressure system to our east. And that means we add not even rain chances on Sunday, but even after that, possibly Tuesday and Wednesday of next week as well. After Saturday, we're hanging out more or less seasonably in those low to mid 70s starting Sunday through that following weekend.
Blaze, thank you. Coming up, it looks like just another LA convenience store, but behind the back wall, it is so much more. How it's helping students next at 5. Stay with us.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Lock in for October. Brewers postseason tickets go on sale September 20th. Get ready for more heroics, more fireworks, more opportunities to witness history. Because when the temperature drops, the action only heats up. Clear your schedule, claim your spot, and get ready for a Brewers postseason run you don't want to miss.
I'm not old enough to vote yet, but I learned how 1 out of 6 of us will someday be raped. So please, think about me when you vote. I learned how our freedom to have an abortion was taken away, even in cases of rape or incest, even to travel to get an abortion. Please, think about me.
You know who got rid of Roe v. Wade.
Now women are being refused life-saving care at hospitals, and politicians are trying to ban birth control. Please, think about me. My parents call me their miracle daughter because I was born with IVF. But IVF could be banned too.
Do they think we're less than human?
Do they think we can't make decisions about our own bodies? About our own lives? When you vote, please think about me. And me.
And me.
Because the politician who got rid of Roe v. Wade, he couldn't care less.
Menards is your plumbing headquarters. Get cleaner clothes and softer skin with Morton Water Softeners. Morton's Wi-Fi integration allows for tracking and alerts, which puts you in control of your water. This 45,000 grain water softener is $586.99 after rebate. Soften your water with Diamond Crystal Solar Natural Salt Crystals. They help soaps and detergents clean better, minimize water softener residue, and increase the life of your appliances. A 50-pound bag is $5.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Democrats say everything's great, but when you're on a fixed income struggling to pay for gas, groceries, or medicine, it doesn't feel great.
Biden-Harris created this mess.
And Tammy Baldwin's been right there with them.
25 years in Washington. What's she done?
Raised taxes.
Added trillions in new debt.
And gave stimulus checks to illegals.
I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message.
I'd like a stimulus check.
I'd like you to take out the trash.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
Welcome back. A Los Angeles store that sells oddities and other gifts has a hidden secret. The little shop has a much higher calling.
A movement that's turning students to published authors. Jasmine Veal takes us there.
It's a storefront that's hard to miss. Once inside, this shop has plenty of the unique and strange where one can shop for dinosaur eggs or make a call to the future. This is the Echo Park Time Travel Mart, and it is anything but normal.
So we come through here, this is our wormhole.
Behind the store, through a door in the back, is the real reason this place exists.
And this is our Echo Park Writing Lab.
Jaime Balboa is the executive director of 826LA. The Time Travel Mart helps fund the nonprofit organization that works with more than 6,000 students a year, teaching them creative writing through its free programs and publishes their work.
Sounds of freedom beats on the concrete. I could smell it from a room away.
Juliana Hernandez, now 18, began coming here in the 2nd grade.
My mom needed a place to have her kids at while she continued to work, and we also needed help with my reading and writing skills.
She became one of the published student authors.
This is the last book that I did my senior year of high school. It's a book about food.
She went on to intern here and is now in college.
Opened my eye with the different networks that are around me.
826LA is celebrating its 20th anniversary, and 100% of the proceeds from the Time Travel Mart go right back to these writing programs for students.
Oh, how I wish our days together were longer.
Hernandez reads the quote she wrote on the store's creative expression wall and says, while sadly her time here is done, she hopes this space continues to shape the future of storytelling and education.
Well, that shop sells products all following that theme of time travel. Published student writing is also sold in the storefront. The program partners with over 100 schools and has 4 writers' rooms in Los Angeles area high schools.
And when we come back, we'll have a full check of your first warn forecast.
My name is Adrienne, and I was hurt in a car accident. What Gruber Law Office has done for me was made me feel safe. It didn't cost me anything, just one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
With Sweeto Metal Roofing, you get quality metal roofs installed by the best in the business. A metal roof means no fading, no storm repairs, true sustainability, and lower energy bills.
Sweeto Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
4 years ago, in this alley, rioters threw a brick at my face and knocked out my teeth. Why? Because I was a police officer. And what did Kamala Harris do? While America's cities were burning, Kamala was defending peaceful protest. She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding our police, making us all less safe. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Thousands of our heroes face the difficult choice between keeping their heat and power on or facing homelessness. 21,000 Wisconsin veterans are living below the poverty line. Wisconsin loses 3 veterans to suicide every week. Together, our mission is to provide all struggling Wisconsin veterans with a critical survival safety net. You can make a real difference by providing a donation to the Wisconsin Heat and Housing for Heroes initiative.
If you're looking for a new fence or deck, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. You'll get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off the installation or 60-month no-interest financing on your fence or deck. Scan the code to see if you qualify.
This is a hallway. Doesn't evoke much feeling. But to those facing cancer or a complex condition, it feels like relief. Because all the doctors, treatments, and technology you've been fighting to find, they're all right here, under one roof, connected by hallways instead of highways. East Park Medical Center, coming soon. UW Health, remarkable.
Brian Style worked to overturn Roe v. Wade, called it a great victory.
Brian Stiles' victory banned abortion in Wisconsin, and his agenda would ban it nationwide, with surveillance of pregnancies and restricting birth control and fertility treatments. Peter Barca fights to protect our freedoms, not tear them away.
He backs Wisconsin's law enforcement, firefighters, and unions.
And Peter does what's right no matter what party it is.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Gruber Law Office.
One call, that's all.
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 Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
Blaze is back. One final check of the forecast.
Yeah, we're going to continue to remain quiet here with partly cloudy to mostly clear conditions as we head further into your overnight hours, dropping from the 80s into the 70s, and then we'll eventually settle into those 50s as we end your Wednesday, going into your Thursday. We remain dry through most of Thursday, but rain moves in. First time in almost 2 weeks, if not over 2 weeks, that we've seen it moving in starting Thursday evening, overnight into Friday, and then again for Sunday, which is the start of fall. Cooler temperatures next week with more rain chances, hopefully by next Tuesday and Wednesday.
A lot of lawns have gone dormant. We'll see if any of that rain can revive them. Blaze, thanks. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next. Stay tuned.